Good morning, everybody. We're Team Hemabo from Mexico. My name is Andrea, and over there are my teammates Anna, Sam, and Gabby. And before I tell you a little more about our product, I would like to place you all in a hypothetical situation. Imagine you just had a terrible car accident where you or somebody that you know and really care about needs a blood transfusion as soon as possible. And you also know that the ambulance is going to take more than 30 minutes to get there and give them the medical attention that they need. So what if I tell you that I could sell you time that could potentially save your life? I don't know if you knew that Mexico ranks 22nd highest in the world with its car accident rate. In average, it takes 2 hours for a person to receive the medical attention that they need and can get transferred to the nearest hospital. Some people call 911, but 74.4% of those calls are not responded to. This is due to the fact that operators think it's a prank call. Sometimes they think the situation is not serious enough to get attended to fast. But do you know how fast a person can bleed to death? On average, and depending on the seriousness of the wound, it could take less than 5 minutes for a person to bleed to death. So as you can see in countries like Mexico and 21 other countries that are clearly not having a very good time with this issue, the response times and processes as well as prevention culture is almost non-existent. It's not very good. So we decided to look a little more into it. According to the World Health Organization, there are 2 million deaths worldwide every year from hemorrhages, of which 1.5 million of those deaths are hemorrhages caused by physical trauma. So we worked out the numbers and we worked out how many people die every day, every hour, and every minute. 2.85 people die every minute from a hemorrhage. In situations like this, when we're presenting to you all a business idea, you would think that time equals money, right? But I would like you all to think that in situations like the one that I talked before, time equals precious life. And because we notice this big need and problem that society really needs to change, we developed Hemabo. Hemabo is a pad that saves lives through time by not only being a first aid product that stops bleeding and detects a person's blood type in a matter of seconds, but it also shortens response times in emergency situations from the moment a person suffers an injury until they get transferred to the nearest medical facility. Getting into the specifications of the pad, it's 4 by 4 inches, and its main active component is calcium alginate. Calcium alginate is a substance with this sand-like texture that in contact with blood creates a protective cover that helps coagulation processes just like this, where the red liquid represents blood and what's inside the glass is a calcium alginate reacting. So as you can see, it absorbs it all. For the blood test reagents, we will be using antibodies A, B, and D that are the reagents that are commonly used or always used for blood testing. They tell you that blood test takes hours, when in fact, this is because they have a lot of work charge in hospitals and laboratories, but it is really a fast process. So you might be asking yourselves, are there a market like this one? And the answer is no, there aren't. Although there are a lot of hemostatic pads all over the world, some of them are not easy to use, some others are not very accessible. And by accessible, I mean that they're very restricted. Some of them are used in the military, some others are used surgically, with prices ranging from $8 to $575. So not everybody can afford that. If we take into consideration all of these characteristics, Hemabo complies with them all, along with that it would be the only pad in the market that does a blood test on site immediately for our unit price of $6.49. If you look at our market capture plan, we would start off by crowdfunding and releasing to the market an MVP product. And although our MVP product would not detect a person's blood type, it would definitely stop a hemorrhage. And so this is how we would start money flowing at the beginning, so that in the next 14 to 18 months, we can release a fully functional and accurate hemostatic pad with blood testing capabilities. To do this, we would be looking at an initial investment of $200,000 that would be used for operational costs for the first year, maybe the second year, research, development, and of course, intellectual property registration. But going back a little to the market, We will be starting off with an initial market that represents 1.5% of Mexico's market. Mexico's wound care market size is worth $18 million. But what if we wanted to sell Hemabo in the United States? That number goes up to $3 billion. And once we get to the United States, why not go worldwide and sell the pad all over the world? The global wound care market size is worth $22 billion. But once we take over the wound care market, why not move on to emergency medical products? That market globally is worth $35 billion. And according to professional projections, by 2023, this number goes up to more than $83 billion in worth. So how are we going to attack the market? Our business model consists mainly of two distribution channels, the first one being business to business, where we would be partnering up with retailers like pharmacies, supermarkets, government institutions, even car dealerships. Here's a fun fact. Did you know that Colombia has this law where every car must carry a first aid kit, no matter what? So wouldn't it be nice that starting off with Mexico, if every car carries a Hemabo pad, we could just prevent so many accidents and maybe make this become a law as well. The second distribution channel would be direct and online sales through our company website. You could Google it. So this is how money would be made, and what will we do with that money? Why not continue research? Why not reinvest or continue that development? Look at ways to make Hemabo sustainable, eco-friendly, without forgetting the social responsibility side of this all. There are so many rural areas in Mexico that need medical attention so bad, but because it's so far away, they cannot get it. So we will make sure to give them something in time. And this is how we would go worldwide. Translated into numbers, what you're looking at in the projector is two different scenarios. The one on the left, it's a very conservative scenario, where our projections through an IRR of 46% and a return of investment of 169%. But why not attack the market more aggressively? We will be looking at projections with an IRR of 76% and a return of investment of 332%. Break even, we talk about break even points. By the third year, it's a little bit more, over 14,000 units. And I know it looks very optimistic, but we know we can achieve these projections by using all the resources that we had within the last few months. And because each member in our company complies with a specific area of the business, from operations, our CEO, logistics, brand management, customer service, and sales management. Along with the fact that we've been working with lots of advisors that not only have passed on their knowledge to us, but that have gave us the contacts so that we can continue research and make sure that it's viable and that we can deliver a product with quality, accessibility, that it's easy to use, and of course it's going to make a big social impact, has a big social impact. Also, these are some of the current companies and organizations that we've been working with back in Mexico that not only have made it easier for us to build a company because we had no idea what we were doing at the beginning, but that have also put their trust in us because they believe that we can really make a change. What would the next steps be for Hemabo? I guess the easy way out would be selling to somebody else, direct competition like 3M, Nextcare, Johnson & Johnson, but why not take it farther? Why not continue developing Hemabo as a variety of first aid products that, of course, focus on shortening response times in emergencies, but that also represent Hemabo as a brand. Hemabo is not only a pad that detects a person's blood type, it's the fact that it's us giving an individual time necessary that could save a life. Because what distinguishes us as a brand is our capacity to avoid tragedies through efficiency. Now, I've been talking for about 9 minutes and a half. And in that time, more than 25 people have died. And nobody's doing anything yet. So I would like all of you guys to put your trust in us to really make a change, because we know we can. And because we know that in emergency situations, every second counts. Thank you.
Maybe. That was great. Love the idea. It certainly could be changing. I was in a situation just last year where, in New York City actually, where the medical folks did not show up for almost half an hour. Right, and it wasn't their fault. It was just a police. I can see the need, and I can see the how valuable this could be. I do have a question. Let me start with first the blood type testing. So where are you with that? And then second, so I'll round that out. Second, is it imperative to have for the product?
Okay, so we are testing right now on lab trials how the blood testing will work on the pad. We know that this is a natural reaction with some active components in the pad and then some specific details from the blood that the person has.
Okay.
So we know it works. We just keep trying on labs, so just to make sure it does work on our pad.
Okay.
And the second question was, why is it imperative?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we actually did a market research, and only about 25% of the people in our population back in Mexico know their blood type.
Okay.
And since Mexico ranks pretty high on its car accident rate, and especially our hometown is top 5 of the car accident rate in our country, we know this is a great area of opportunity because you never know, and the ambulance really doesn't never know if the person is in an urgent or an emergency scenario, right?
Great. That's what I was trying to understand, that they had to go together. Okay, that's great. I got to ask one other slight question, which is, I saw one of your advisors is a seaweed biologist. Okay, why?
Okay, that's a really good question. We've got that person in our team because we are first working with calcium alginate. And calcium alginate, as my teammate mentioned, is a substance that is extracted from algae, from seaweed. So that's why we've got the seaweed biologist in our team. Yeah.
Thanks. Nice job up there. Just one question. I understand your first go-to-market is around car accidents, but I would think intuitively there's a much larger market with just household injuries, household accidents, gunshot wounds, et cetera, et cetera. Are those not as applicable to this sort of solution, or why are we focusing on one that is particularly intractable and hard to solve?
Okay, so we are trying to get there for all people, right? So we know in our hometown car accidents is a major issue. That's why we are attacking that first. But we are, for example, we've got here our partnered businesses that we know that are going to buy our product as soon as we launch them. Most of them are schools, because only in Mexico City, 125 accidents per day occur in schools. Most of them are primary schools. And then we've partnered up with government. We've got a few contacts there that could help us penetrate the government market, and well, the services market as well. We know logistics companies and services companies that have their own transportation means, so that would be a good opportunity to have our pad in their cars. And lastly, we'll go international. We've all got our contacts. We've been contacted by someone in Spain that they want our product out there as soon as possible, so we are looking forward to that. And we've got also contacts in the States and in UK that could give us a help to get out there also.
Nice job also. It's exciting to see. I love the innovations that are making an impact in people's lives, so that's exciting. My question is on the cost structure. So it seems there are similar products that can help stop bleeding, and your differentiator is a radically different price in the marketplace. How do you achieve that, and how sustainable is that?
Okay, I guess I'll answer that as well. We figured out our cost based on two main things. One was how much would it cost for us to do our product, right? And the second one was how much are the people willing to pay for our product. So we made a survey of our population, and that's how we came out with this unit price for each pad. And important thing to mention is that since we are trying to get our pad out there to most of the population, we know that we cannot take advantage of our margin costs, make sure they're good, but not good enough, because we want to get people the help they are willing to, or they need to have. Yeah. So that's how we got our cost and our price up.
Well done. I'd like to go back to the market piece. And when you look at the pad's going to give me the blood, the type of blood that needs to be transfused into the patient. Is that right? And it's also going to stop the bleeding. If you were to look at those two traits, what's the most important? And then if you could then help me, and I'm leading you the question here, where are they going to get once we know the type of blood, how are they going to get that blood into that patient?
What happened in our country is that an ambulance can take like 30 minutes to arrive. Then a paramedic only have their hands and the typical gas to stop the bleeding. Then one paramedic have to be with the patient all time because he needs to push, and the other one have to like put it on the ambulance drive. And then when the patient came to the ER, nurse have to extract her blood, go down to the chemistry, give it to the person in charge. He's going a lot of work, so he has to wait. And then like 1 hour later, the blood, he's A positive. So I have to to get the blood, because in Mexico, not all the hospital has all the blood types. If we put our pad, we reduce that time, that waiting time, and the paramedic could call the hospital like the woman patient 23 years old, he needs A positive soon as get. So the patient will arrive and the blood is like just there.
If the blood was with the ambulance driver, would that change the whole direction of your company?
So if the ambulance
Had the blood.
had the
Sorry. In Mexico, because blood is an organ, they can have it in an ambulance.
We'll talk later, but there's the ability that could happen,
No.
which would make your business quite interesting to me.
Congratulations, that was a nice presentation. So you came up with it sounds like a standard size of 4 inches by 4 inches. How did you arrive at that, and is there the opportunity to have your product in different sizes and styles?
So we figured out our size through this same survey that we surveyed a sample of 200 people, and the most convenient size for them was 4 by 4. But definitely there is a possibility, and it will happen, that the pad has different shapes and different sizes, because emergency situations are different kinds. So we need to adapt to all sizes and all shapes. Maybe add cartoons for children. Maybe the moms will prefer to buy a pad that has SpongeBob on it, and the children will not freak out when he's seeing blood, right? So yeah, we're open to options.
This is how the pad look with it used. So
A used pad.
that a
Yeah.
used pad, you can notice the circles and the bloody part. So it's just like putting like the one it's close. Yeah, there.
So in the package, you can see like a very easy to read, kind of color coded for all the blood type combinations. So in this case, you can see the blood coagulating, and the two other circles are completely red, what the blood just went through. And so that would mean the patient is O positive, and so the ambulance could call in time and ask for the blood so that it's already ready by the time they get to the nearest hospital.
So, well done, team. I have a son who recently had a head wound that one of these patches helped save his life. He was on a mountain here, and it took a couple hours for him to get taken off the mountain. So I appreciate the technology that's already there. That was an $8 pad. So it seems to me that the need that you're identifying in the market has to do with this blood typing. I'm still a little bit, I need to know more about that to understand the need here, in the sense of what customer discovery have you done with hospitals about would they rely on your technology to identify blood type, and how would that change their processes?
Yes, so we've got contact with several hospitals in our hometown, as well as ambulance and emergency medical services, that we're just getting feedback from our idea. They think it's really great, so that we've got their support. And the important part of our differentiator, then in this case, is the blood typing test, is that Mexico's healthcare system has a huge area of opportunity. So we do not think that a person needs to wait up to 2 hours on average to get that attention, right? So that's why we are coming up with this idea, just to make this process faster and to keep alive or a potential life for someone.
When you say keep alive, I think of expertise. Is there any expertise that's needed in the moment of the emergency to use this pad appropriately to save somebody's life?
So the idea of our pad is that it's easy to use for everyone. So since we want to have it out there, I can buy it or you can buy it on any pharmacy or online sales. No one needs to go through specific details of how to use the pad, right? Just open the package and put it on, and then, well, maybe if you get yourself transported to the hospital, you'll already have on your pad the type of blood that you are, or if there's the paramedics on the ambulance, they'll have the package and the instructions on how to read it. Everyone's gonna have those instructions. So we're gonna make it really easy to use and friendly, user-friendly. So that's the main point of getting it out there for everyone.
All right, thank you.
Great. I see a number of the audience folks have found the website, so thank you for the questions. The number one voted up question is, how long is the shelf life, and how does the temperature and so forth affect this, especially when this is being kept in a car?
Okay, so according to our Mexican FDA, which is called COFEPRIS, our shelf life cannot go longer than 3 years. So that's our limit. Even though our pad might have a shelf life for 4, 5, 6 years, which we are looking to aim that high, we need to take it out as of 3 years. And then regarding the packaging, we are considering to have a polyethylene bag that is resistant to high temperatures, which will help in the partnership with car dealerships. So there wouldn't be any problem to have your pad inside of that metallic bag, which, can you put the 3D pack? Yeah, that's the package. And that would resist to moisture and high temperatures and humidity levels. So then we are with the standards of quality that our pad needs to keep in order to be useful whenever a person needs it.
Thank you.
And up next, we have Hodge Sensors from Vienna, Austria.